Mr. Sergeant of Arms, invite the members into the chamber and close the doors. I hereby declare the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee now in session. Will the members please stand, and the visitors in the gallery please stand and remain standing through the Pledge of Allegiance. Representative McCalman will serve as chaplain of the day. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, members. Just before we pray, I'd like to just give you one of my favorite verses this morning, and it is, "This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." So if y'all would pray with me, please. Dear Lord Jesus, we come before you this morning and just say thank you. Thank you for the breath in our lungs. Thank you for the sun in the sky. Thank you for everything that you have made in this wonderful creation. Lord, as we go through this day and as we go through this floor session, God, I pray that you guide our hearts. You give us wisdom. You help us lean not on our own understanding, but lean on the wisdom that you give us, God. I pray that we conduct the will of your being and the will of the people here today, God. And you just thank you again. Pray you bless this day, bless this body, and bless our state. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Representative McCalman will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Roll call.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 89 members present.
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Welcoming and honoring.
Welcome and honoring. Oh, let the journal reflect Representative Gant and Travis are excused. Chairman Clemens, you are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I request that the Sergeant at Arms escort our guest into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well. Chairman Clemens, you are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read the resolution for Representative Beck.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 23 of the first extraordinary session by Chairman Clemens and others, a resolution to honor the memory of Representative Bill Beck. Whereas it is with great sadness that we learned of the untimely passing of our esteemed colleague, Representative Bill Beck of Nashville, and whereas known affectionately as the Prince of Madison, Representative Beck distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of the highest order and as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 51st House District, whom he served as a member of the 109th through the 113th General Assemblies. And whereas born on March 21st, 1962, Carson W. Bill Beck received his Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from Belmont University and his Juris Doctorate from the Nashville School of Law. For 33 years, he practiced law with his family firm, Beck & Beck Attorneys at Law, earning the respect of the courthouse and those of Madison suburb where he grew up. And whereas during his tenure in the General Assembly, Representative Beck worked diligently to pass several bills, including ones that expanded maternity and paternity leave for state employees and ensured that homeless students obtained birth certificate and a photo identification. His success was attributed to his ability to work not only within his party, but also with those across the aisle. And whereas a powerful voice for the city of Nashville, Representative Beck offered wise counsel and steadfast friendship that were appreciated by all who were fortunate to know him, as were his quick wit, gregarious nature, and unforgettable laugh. And whereas it is fitting that we should remember the bountiful life of this exceptional public servant and human being, Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor the memory of Representative Bill Beck and his life of service to the citizens of the state of Tennessee, reflecting fondly upon his stalwart commitment to living the examined life with courage and conviction.
Jerry Clemens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's obviously with a heavy heart. We're here this morning to honor a man who is all of our great friend, a man who provided every one of us in this room with great memories, great laughs, and provided us with a lot of wisdom and guidance. Representative Beck and I came into this chamber together. We passed each other on the campaign trail back in 2014 quite a bit, built up a good friendship, and I was very honored to serve with someone who I considered a great man, a great public servant, and a true statesman. We're honored to be joined this morning by his family, Pam, Meredith, and Andy, and the beautiful grandbaby that I made cry. And I just absolutely breaks my heart to think that Bill never got to meet this beautiful grandbaby, because as we all know, the last months we spent with Representative Beck, that's all he talked about. Every single day we got an update on this beautiful baby and future leader of the state of Tennessee. Mr. Speaker, I'd love to hand this over to Leader Camper to say a few words before we recognize the family.
Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members. I'm going to do my best not to get too emotional, but Beck was really my right-hand man, to be honest. I knew him long before he even became a member of this body through his lovely wife here, Pam. Pam was the liaison for TBI, and I was on Judiciary when it was called Judiciary. And we'd have our knockdown drag-outs, but we became friends. And through her, Bill became my friend. So when he came, it was just like, hey, welcoming a friend to this body, because we knew each other for so many years before that. I'm going to miss his laugh tremendously. I miss it now. I'm going to miss that walk, keep coming down the halls or trekking over here. I really miss him tremendously. And he was that person that you can confide in and trust that confidence would be there forever. And we would have real, open, honest conversations about just life. And I miss that. I think of him often. And it doesn't help that Bone is now my senior policy advisor, who served Beck for years as his assistant. So it's a constant reminder for us. We sit in the office and think about him and reflect fondly on him, Pam, all the time. His love of Christmas music, we had that in common. I mean, we would sing Christmas songs, Christmas in July. But I miss him tremendously, and I know this body misses him tremendously. He had a relationship with all of us who came in contact with him. And he was a guy that, could go across the aisle for me and get over here and get things done without any, second thought, because he was trusted. He was a trusted person, a trusted voice in the committees. And that meant a lot. It meant a lot to us then. It means a lot to us now. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members. Thank you, family, for being here today. I know how difficult it's been in your family without him, but we love him, we honor him, and we, Mr. Speaker, I yield back my time.
I won't say much other than seatmates teach you a lot. You sit next to somebody on the House floor, you learn about them and their family, and Beck was my seatmate. I miss him dearly. But I'm grateful for the time we spent together. I'm grateful for his family to be here. So I'm going to step away from this mic for a minute.
Mr. Speaker, this time I would ask that you allow Representative Beck's family to say a few words.
Yes.
I'll speak for the family, and I hope I make it through it. I want to say a big thank you to you. Bill loved every second he was here. I don't know why or how, but he did. And he loved every one of you. And he tried his best to see where you were coming from, why you believed the way you did. And he didn't want to diminish your belief, even though he didn't agree with you. Can't tell you how many times he'd say, so-and-so, what a great guy, but those politics. I want to thank David Bone, who's continually checked on us. A tornado tore through our neighborhood, and he texted beforehand and said, y'all get safe, get to a safe place. And he texted after, and he's just been a member of the family. And I hate to single people out, but Leader Clemens, who checked on us at Christmas, and Richey Hardaway, who just chimes in every once in a while and says, I'm praying for you. It's much appreciated. When we had the service here, I quoted somebody, believe it or not, that I saw on Twitter. I just thought it was a great quote about Bill. And that person said he had a love for people that could not be faked. And that's true. Thank you.
So, well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know Dr. Loves, he was a seatmate. Bill was my suite mate. And for you all to empathize with me, I had Bill Beck and John Mark. And we would, it was a very dysfunctional office, but it was so we really loved each other. And Bill's was right next to mine, and I'd be in a meeting and you could hear him laugh, and they would say those walls sure are thin. I'm like, no, they're not. And our conversations, especially political and philosophical, and as we go through, and Pam, you're right, he didn't understand. He understood people, and he did his best to understand their thinking process. But I carry a lot of those conversations with me in his words. And as we navigated the waters of the super minority, in which we did the best we could, I'm so glad that we're honoring him on the floor today. I'm not sure he would have wanted it, but well, we're going to give it to him anyway. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, Mr. Speaker and family, first, I'd like to just thank the family, Pam and the family, for allowing Beck to serve and share. Every time he's away from the house, the family takes away, but he gave so much to the state of Tennessee. And we are forever indebted for that part of him that you all allowed to stay, because there were sometimes long nights. I remember nights we were here a lot, late and working. But his heart and his mind was never away from you all at not one time. And it's already been said just how much he loved his family and he loved us. He was a man of love. He definitely wanted to see his grandbaby. Which y'all may or may not know, we had a pool on how much the baby was going to weigh. Y'all know about that? Some of y'all know about that? Well, that was in Senator Kyle's office. And I won the pool because I'd worked at hospitals before and I gave the closest answer. I think I was accurate. All the rest of them lost. But it was always when we had spare time, that's his first grandchild. He's just, boy, I tell you. And we've already talked about his infectious laugh. And a lot of us, we cut up with each other. But to see him work in committee was a work of art. He was a tactician. That rascal was smart. He was really smart. And he did it with the Midas touch. And when I wanted to job him, I called him Perry Mason because he never lost. He really never lost. But when you encountered him, you always felt good from the beginning to the end. No condescending, not beating you down, trying to share with you, always coming from a place of trying to do better for our people. He was able to do that. And any of you all that had an opportunity to encounter him, you were blessed. Those that did not, you missed a treasure. And he will never be replaced, but he always have a place in this house as long as members like myself and others that are here. Now, finally, I have to say this. The Reverend, he became his sweet mate, but the Reverend stole him from me. He was my sweet mate first. So the Reverend went behind my back and talked to the speaker and got him switched. He should have been my sweet mate all the way through. But we both had an opportunity to share with him, and that was a great deal. And I learned a tremendous amount from Beck while he was here. Thank you, family, Mr. Speaker, and members.
Thank you. I just want to wrap up this honoring ceremony for our good friend, the late Representative Bill Beck, by thanking all of you for indulging us this morning and welcoming this beautiful family onto the House floor. Please, please continue to keep them in your prayers and your thoughts as we move forward, because as we all know, when we lose someone dear to us, whether it be a friend or a family member, a husband, a father, or a grandfather, that loss lives on, as does their legacy. So please keep this family in your thoughts and prayers, and thank you. If you'd come down to join us, Mr. Speaker, for a picture, and anyone else is welcome to join us.
Chairman Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Papal, Speaker. I request that the Sergeant at Arms escort our guest into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, escort the guest into the well. Chairman Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, is there anyone that came in with him in 2004? I'd love for you to join us. That was a long time ago. I don't even know if Kip Capel was born yet. Oh, hey, Kip. Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1096 by Chairman Faison, a resolution to honor and commend Representative Curtis Johnson for his distinguished service as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Curtis Johnson of Clarksville is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability, and whereas first elected to the General Assembly in 2004, Representative Johnson is an influential figure in the political, social, and civic life of Clarksville and Montgomery County, and he has served his constituents in numerous capacity during his 20-year tenure on Capitol Hill, and whereas he has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of an exceptional asset to the good people of the 68th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 104th through the 113th General Assemblies, and whereas a strong voice of Clarksville and Montgomery County, Curtis Johnson has established himself as a leader by serving as Deputy Speaker of the House for the 111th, 112th, and 113th General Assemblies, and prior to that as Speaker Pro Tem of the House for the 108th, 109th, and 110th General Assemblies. And whereas an alumnus of Leadership Clarksville, Representative Johnson is a graduate of Austin Peay State University with a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree and has attended the Tennessee School of Banking. And whereas his many personal and professional accomplishments aside, Curtis Johnson is most appreciative of the love and companionship he shares with his wife, Marcia, and their 3 sons and 6 grandchildren. And whereas Representative Johnson is committed to the precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as the volunteer state, and he should be recognized upon his tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor Representative Curtis Johnson for his meritorious service to Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commend him for his countless contributions and many good works in service of the constituents of the 68th House District and the citizens of Clarksville and Montgomery County, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success and happiness.
Chairman Faison, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've often said that one of the great benefits of serving in the Tennessee House are the people that you cross paths with. And my friend Curtis Johnson is one such person that I've crossed paths with that I'll never forget. There's a saying in East Tennessee, and it might be in Middle and West, I don't know, we'll ask y'all. There's a saying that says, still water runs deep. And when I think of my friend Curtis, and I think of our history as friends together, when I first met him, I first got in the legislature back in 2010, 11, I would watch Curtis, and Curtis in front of everybody never said much. And I've always like, my goodness, he's kind of a quiet feller. And he doesn't talk. Well, it's not really that way when you're at the 5 o'clock caucus, but for purposes of the House floor committee, well, years ago, Curtis and I ended up having to take a trip together to Phoenix, Arizona. And up until that point, we'd been around each other several times, but I hadn't really, just me and Curtis, you know. And he had asked me, he said, Jeremy, would you get the flights for us? So I got the flight. So we ended up sitting together on this plane all the way to Phoenix, Arizona. And I asked him to tell me a little bit about his life. And we ended up spending the next 3 or 4 days together. And I learned about a man who's been incredibly successful. I learned about a man who has faced hardships that some of y'all probably have no clue the hardships that he's faced. I learned about a man that, in my opinion, if I'd faced some of the hardships like that, I don't know that I could have the joy and laughter that he has on a daily basis up here. When I say still water runs deep, I don't know if there's another line that would match my friend Curtis Johnson than that. And there's a thought that I know it's in my mind, and I believe it's in the majority of your minds who have raised your hand and been able to take an oath to serve in this chamber. And the thought is, at least it ever is before me, is that I hope when the final time that I walk out that chamber as an elected representative, I wish from the depths of my beings that it mattered to something, to someone, to somebody, to this state that I served in this chamber. And I can tell each one of you unequivocally on true conviction that it mattered greatly to this state that Curtis Johnson served. And it didn't just matter that to the state that Curtis Johnson served. It mattered to each one of us that know him, that loved him, that have been able to see him behind the scenes from just this. And the final thing I'll say is Curtis has secretly done and quietly done and maneuvered stuff for his district like I've never seen a man be able to do. Holy smokes, if y'all would have been paying attention, Curtis Johnson has pulled stuff off for his district that most people will never get to do in 15, 20 years of their service because he knows how to work. He knows how to get things done. And he knows that the battle is not won standing up here on the House floor, hooping and hollering. The battle's done somewhere else. And we are so grateful that you served here. Mr. Speaker, would you allow my friend Leader Lambert to speak?
Leader Lambert.
Now, Speaker Marsh, you said that with some trepidation.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
So when I was first recruited to run for public office, it was by a local banker. And like many of y'all on the other side of the aisle, you probably had somebody in your community come to you and say, hey, I think you ought to run for state representative. And you listened to him and you thought about it, you prayed about it, and you probably went and asked some other folks. Well, I had heard of Curtis Johnson. I knew who he was. I knew of him. And this friend that recruited me said, hey, look, once I decided I was going to run, he said, you got to do one thing for me. You got to drive up Clarksville and you've got to meet with Representative Curtis Johnson and you do whatever he tells you to do. Now, Curtis, I'm disappointed to say that in 12 years, I've not followed that advice exactly, but I've tried. Okay. I've really tried. I mean, so y'all, I can't tell you how many times, and we're all friends here, but I can't tell you how many times I'd be totally wound up about some issue and ready to run through a wall on it. And Curtis would say, now, leader, look, that's a good person that's doing this, that, or the other. Have you thought about this? And look, he didn't set me down and fuss at me. He didn't set me down and tell me I was wrong or calm down or do whatever. He just said, look, have you thought about this? And it's in that calm, steady, strong way. And I've spent hundreds of hours over the last dozen years talking to you and Pat about different things and just asking your advice. And Curtis, what you don't know is that so many times when you didn't even realize necessarily that you were guiding us, you were. Over and over and over again with just that steady hand at the till, that quiet voice in your ear, or sometimes that booming laugh of telling a joke or whatever else, but you were quietly guiding us to try to take the right path. So I ask your forgiveness of the times I didn't follow your advice, but I thank you for the times that you guided us well and continue to, both you and Speaker Marsh. You will be dearly missed. It is impossible for your successor, whomever that may be, your people choose to fill those shoes. But I appreciate both y'all because you've had good advice and you've given good advice. So Speaker Marsh, that's all I have, but I would ask that we turn it back over to the good chairman and that he hopefully will give the speaker a few minutes. Thank you.
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could we yield some time to our friend, Representative Curtis Johnson?
Woo! Here, here.
Wow. Speaker Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have
two special ladies with me today. I have my wife of 43 years, Marcia Johnson. And I have my assistant, Linda Bowers, who's in the gallery. Who has been my assistant for 20 years. Thank you so much. Members, it has been a true honor to serve in this body, to be one of 99 members representing 7 million people. What an honor. I've made so many dear friends, close friends, from Memphis to Mountain City on both sides of the aisle. It's just been a great experience. Friendships that will last me for a lifetime. And I'm going to close by saying, those of you that have opponents in the upcoming election, I'll be thinking about you. You will be in my thoughts and prayers. Thanks for the memories. Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to mention one more thing, and Leader Lambert kind of touched on it. But Curtis's wonderful wife, Marcia, I have taken the occasion to go to Clarksville. I've actually, unfortunately for them, spent the night there several times. And she is an absolute delightful human. And I will say this, Curtis could not be the man he's been for us if it wasn't for his wonderful wife, Marcia. And we love her. So, members, I do want you to know that we will have a real copy for each one of our 5 retiring, but for purposes of not being able to get them framed yet, because of time, we're just going to have to take a picture of this. Curtis, Mr. Speaker, both of y'all, would y'all like to come join us all together with our friend Curtis Johnson? Take a picture.
Leader Camper, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that the Sergeant at Arms escort our guests into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well. Leader Camper, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1141 by Leader Camper and others, a resolution to commend Representative Dwayne Thompson for his honorable and astute service to the people of Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with utmost integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful and exemplary service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Dwayne Thompson of Cordova is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability. And whereas Dwayne Thompson has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of the highest order and as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 96th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 110th through 113th General Assemblies. And whereas throughout his service, Dwayne Thompson has been prominent as a dedicated, well-informed legislator who always votes his conscience. And whereas born on October 6, 1950, Representative Thompson enjoyed a distinguished career as a human resource administrator before taking a well-deserved retirement. And he holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science and economics from the University of Memphis, where he also undertook graduate coursework in business administration. And whereas throughout his outstanding career as a public servant, Dwayne "The Rock" Thompson has worked tirelessly on behalf of his constituents, bringing to his office an honorable bearing and traditional values of hard work and common sense. And whereas Representative Dwayne Thompson is wholly committed to the noble precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as the volunteer state, and he should be specially recognized for his exemplary tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we hereby honor Representative Dwayne Thompson for his meritorious service to the Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commended for his countless contributions and many good works in service of the citizens of the 96th House District, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success and happiness.
Leader Camper, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Mr. Speaker and members, I want to also welcome Jennifer, his darling wife. Where's Jennifer? There she is. Jennifer, Joseph, and Grace, his daughter and son-in-law, and Nora, who's serving as a page also today, are joining us here today as we honor Representative Thompson and his retirement from the General Assembly. You know, when Dwayne first came, it was really good to see him. I'd seen him in the community. He's been a part of the party for a long time, been working in the community, was that guy that would, you know, help you knock on doors and all these things for the party. And it meant a lot to us for someone with his knowledge, his experience, to decide he wanted to serve his community in another capacity and to elevate himself to a higher level of service to the community. And he decided to run for state representative in a very challenging district, but he worked hard. He knocked on doors. He met with the people. He listened to what they had to say. And he came here with a wonderful spirit of service. He came here with knowledge and expertise that he added value to our committee system. And in those committees, people, again, listened to what he had to say because he was an expert in certain areas. And that means a lot when we're serving on our committees. And I appreciate you, Dwayne, for that, for your honesty. Okay, Dwayne, I'm looking the other direction. For your honesty, for your tenacity, and your commitment to service to not only Shelby Countyans, but to the state of Tennessee. We're gonna miss you tremendously. Miss your counsel. You know, you didn't come up often, but when you did, I knew when you came to see me, it was very important. And either you were alarming me about something that I needed to think about, or just sharing your thoughts with me about, you know, things that we could do and things that we can do better. And I really appreciated that every time you did it. And it was even before I was in this leadership position, I felt that you had this spirit of feeling free enough to come and have a real open, honest conversation about things, even if the topic was hard and difficult. That meant a lot to me. We're going to miss that here. But I know you want to spend time with your granddaughter and your family and, enjoy, the rest of your time as a retired public servant. Mr. Speaker, I would like for Representative Miller, who's a longer-serving member of the Shelby County delegation, but also he serves on local with him, would like to say a few words.
Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader Kemper. And Dwayne, I will miss you. We will miss you. Dwayne has been somewhat of a sounding board for me. Whenever it's so chaotic, and it can get chaotic around here, I think we can all agree to that. But talking to Dwayne gives you a sense of balance. It gives you a sense of how people should act, agree to disagree. He gives you that. And I've seen that in Dwayne in these short years that he's been here. That's why I think I'm going to miss him, because I think this is what this legislature needs. That kind of thinking, that kind of personality to try to bring people together. And that's the impression I've gotten from Dwayne each and every time we've had our conversations. And as I said, he's been somewhat of a sounding board for me. And I'm assuming he's been a sounding board for many of us. He's quiet, and I will not say even when we're not on the floor, even when we're walking down the halls or the corridors of this building, Dwayne, you never see him upset. You never see him, or I don't see him frustrated. That takes a lot of power. That takes a lot of being able to go through these muddy waters, because sometimes it can be. So thank you for that, Dwayne. Thank you for being the person that you are. Thank you for being reasonable. Thank you for being balanced. Thank you for your passion and the commitment you've had to your community, to your constituency, as well as this state. We're going to miss you. And hopefully from time to time that you will not go too far away, and reach out from time to time and watch us when you're at home after you've taken your vacations and spent so much time with your family. Just don't leave us. Don't leave me alone up here. Thank you.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Leader Kemper. Thank you. I just want to say a couple of things about our friend Dwayne. Dwayne, I promise I won't embarrass you. One thing about Dwayne is this, just three things real quick. Dwayne is one of those guys that is uncut in his position on things. And he's never been afraid to tell you. I have to be careful when I'm walking down the aisle right there, because I call that Army Road down there where Dwayne and Ronnie and Jay Reedy sits, and I'm a Marine, so I have to watch my back, watch my six when I walk past them, because they all stood up on me the other day in session. So, but here's something that I think is important to share. When I was the chair of the Shelby County delegation, Dwayne was the secretary for the Shelby County delegation. And so every week on every Wednesday we meet and we go over the minutes of the last meeting. And it was Dwayne's job to read those minutes. And Dwayne had a way of reading those minutes extremely slow. And so when those members of the Shelby delegation would start acting up and getting out of line, I would threaten them with, if you don't straighten up, I'm going to have Dwayne to read the minutes. Of course, they would quickly straighten up. The last thing I want to say about Dwayne is this, outside of how much, we love Dwayne and appreciate his service. But for those of us that are on the fourth floor, we would watch Dwayne come around the corner. And if you hadn't noticed, Dwayne has this walk with this level of swag that is uncanny. And every time he come around the corner with that walk, I would be like, the swag level in the hall just went up 100 degrees, thanks to Dwayne. Dwayne, we appreciate your service. We love you, man. Thank you for all that you've poured into us. Thank you so much for being a part of this family.
No, you're safe. Obviously, we ditto everything that all the other colleagues have stated, but I guess the somberness is how good Dwayne has been to us, and this knowledge and this calmness and this wisdom. And the problem becomes you don't know what you're going to get behind Dwayne. Who's going to come up here to try to fill those shoes, which they won't be filled. So it's kind of like we know you love your family. You have to go at some point in time, but it's bittersweet, especially what the possibilities could be. You all may have never seen Dwayne dig in. Dwayne is smooth and mild and, and all that other cool stuff. But when he locks down, he's like a bulldog on certain things. I've seen it, you know. He tries to hide it. But Dwayne, you and the family, and he's done so many things in the community. And his wife, his life partner, has been right there with him. And I think that tag team has been really, really beneficial, not only to Dwayne and the family, but to us here. So Dwayne, as has been stated, we hope that you still stay active in the community, mentor and share with others that may come this way, and continue to keep up and pour into us in that community down there that you love so much. And we are forever indebted to what you've done. And as I stated earlier, you always got a friend in this house. With the house you helped to build, house you helped to build in Tennessee, you always will have a friend here. Thank you, sir. Yes, absolutely, The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Thompson.
Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to recognize Representative Dwayne Thompson. To the well.
Representative Thompson.
I got a couple of things. Okay, well, first of all, thank you for all the speakers. I just soon listen to everybody else saying all these great things about me. So, do want to acknowledge Leader Camper mentioned my family here. Just want to appreciate them coming up here. My wife and I just celebrated our 45th anniversary. Thank you. Just this past Sunday, my son and my daughter are here, and I always appreciate them. And they've grown to great adults, not just successful in work and everything, but also just good people. And I that's something you always have to be thankful for. And when I came up here, I had one grandchild, a little 3-year-old. And she is here with us now. She will be 11 in just a few weeks. And I have 4 more too. And I want to honor my 2 other people, my son-in-law, Dustin Lambert, my daughter-in-law, Amanda Thompson, who each of them have 2 little kids at home right now. So they're taking care of things and allowing Joe and Grace to come up here. So anyway, I just knew I'd forget about things, so I just took a few notes. I won't be more than an hour or so. No, I just have to thank, first of all, thank God for allowing me to be here in the first place. And appreciation to all of my constituents, all the voters of my district, my friends and my neighbors who have sent me up here 4 times. And, you know, they're the ones who I have to look to all the time. They're my, you know, I'm up here to represent them. And it's one of the honors of my life, to the fact they've actually sent me up here. But in any case, you know, I could go on and on, but in over the last year, I've just been thinking a lot about what I'm going to do in the future, and I'm going to have to make a strange quote here. I have to quote Mitch McConnell because he and I have the same. His quote is actually something I agree with. His was, one of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter. And this is my time right now. So what I'll be doing is, again, spending more time with the family, with grandkids, doing a little more traveling, and also I'll continue to be active as long as I'm able in our community and to work to make, of course, my city and my county a better place, and to make Tennessee a better place in the future. So, and with that, again, I appreciate everyone here, and I appreciate the kind words, and I hope to see many of you in the future, and I do appreciate serving with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, would you come down and take a picture with us? Dwayne has a peppier step now. I noticed it last night when he was walking. So, all right.
Let the journal reflect. Representative Dixie is excused. Representative Powell, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the Sergeant at Arms escort our guests into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well. Representative Powell, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1140 by Representative Powell and others, a resolution to commend Representative Darren Jernigan for his honorable and astute service to the people of Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with the utmost integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful and exemplary service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Darren Jernigan of Nashville is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability. And whereas Darren Jernigan has distinguished himself as a public spirited citizen of the highest order, as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 60th House District. whom he has served as a member of the 108th through the 113th General Assemblies. And whereas born on December 7th, 1969, Representative Jernigan is highly regarded as a healthcare consultant and holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Austin Peay State University and a Master of Criminal Justice degree from Middle Tennessee State University. And whereas throughout his outstanding career as a public servant, Darren Jernigan has worked tirelessly on behalf of his constituents, bringing to this office an honorable bearing and traditional values of hard work and common sense. And whereas throughout multiple hard-fought campaigns and through diligent representation of the people of Nashville, both as a member of the Council for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, and as a state representative for the 60th House District, Representative Jernigan has made it known that no one pushes Darren Jernigan around. And whereas Representative Darren Jernigan is wholly committed to the noble precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as the volunteer state, and he should be specially recognized for exemplary tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be resolved by the House of Representatives, the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we hereby honor Representative Darren Jernigan for his meritorious service to the Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commend him for his countless contributions and many good works in service to the citizens of the 60th House District, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success and happiness.
Representative Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, first of all, I'd like to recognize Representative Jernigan's family. We have Michelle, his wife, Carson Taylor, Amanda Lee Taylor, and Ryan. I might have missed. Did I miss anyone? Okay, sorry, and his mother is here too, at least. So, it's hard for me to fully capture what an honor and a pleasure it has been to serve with you, if I can call you Darren, since we came in together in 2012. The way that you have advocated for the entire city of Nashville, your district, the state of Tennessee, the way that you have demonstrated to all of this state how no matter what your setback in life and what cards you've been dealt, you can move forward and lift other people up. You have been a champion for so many different causes, but the way that you have gone about, not just by example, but by your actions in advocating for the disability community to provide greater access, is something that we are all thankful for. We are all thankful for the blessing that you have given us and the courage that you have shown as a person to fight for those who are often forgotten about. You know, anytime I think about, I pull up and I see someone that's taken a spot or done something, or I see an obstacle where I know that somebody can't gain access, especially in a public facility. I think about you and think about the ways that you have gone about to make sure that no Tennessean is faced with those challenges. And we all have equal access, and we all have opportunities. And if I could share a personal story, during the COVID pandemic, my aunt was in a nursing home, and she had been moved into a nursing home, and I had no way of getting her to get a vaccine for herself. And they had already vaccinated all the patients that were in the nursing home. So she had missed her spot. And we had to transport her. And I asked you, I said, do you know somebody that can help me get her transportation? And Darren said, I know just the person. And he volunteered himself. And we drove over there and got my aunt and took her to get vaccinated. That's the kind of person Darren Jernigan is. He'll step up for anyone, no matter their party, their religion, their color, their creed. And it's been a true pleasure to serve with you, my friend. For 12 years, I'm going to miss you. And we hope you'll come see us every now and then. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to pass it off to Representative Mitchell, please.
Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a hard day for me. I mean, Darren and I, we grew up in the same part of Nashville. We both ran for state house in 2000 and lost. We both ran for Metro Council in 2007 and served together in the council for 2 terms together. So our lives have been kind of parallel. Love him to death. I mean, you know, everyone said all the stuff, you know, that he fights so hard, so much he accomplished. Well, just think how much harder it is for him on a normal day than most of us, and how much more he's accomplished than most of us have. I look to him and I'm just amazed that all he does. One thing I do try to keep him supplied with, Darren loves his little Reese's eggs, those little Easter eggs. You know, if you want to get on Darren Jernigan's good side, that's all you have to do is bring him one of those eggs. But he's been there for me my entire time I've been an elected official. You know, when I've always needed someone in a downtime, you know, I go to Darren's office. You know, I'm not going to have that anymore, and that's going to be hard. But I've been hearing about this grandbaby and you know, and his family. He's going to be laughing at us while he's enjoying life with his family next year. So, Big D, going to miss you, man. But please answer your phone for me. And Mr. Speaker, I'd like to hand it off to Representative Whitson.
Representative Whitson.
Well, members, I tell you, I was blessed my first 2 years here to be seated on the back row there, and next to me, and really across the aisle, was Darren Jernigan. We developed a really close friendship from the very beginning. I know no finer person who stands up for so much in this state, in his community. And Darren and I, we started a program to promote civility and understanding, and we would talk to groups about the importance of civility and how to lobby. And but unfortunately, sometime in our civility talks, we end up in an argument. But but we showed how to do it respectfully. And I'll never forget Darren. One of the bills he had down here on the floor, I was his prime co-sponsor, and it was to charge a tax to go into an adult entertainment establishment, and it was to raise money for a human trafficking fund. And I called it a poll tax. Darren, but Darren was down presenting it, and I was on the back, and I didn't have my hearing aids again that day, and I thought somebody was trying to kill the bill, and I voted no. It was really on, and he's giving me, what the heck are you doing? So I started listening a lot closer, and then, but our friendship is so good, and got to know his wonderful family, and we'd go out to eat a lot together. And so my wife is from Donaldson, and he represents Donaldson. And so one time we went out to eat, and he gave Pam a Donaldson t-shirt. And he said, Pam, tomorrow morning you tell Sam that you're wearing his shirt, you know, my shirt. So anyway, I'll never forget that. And but listen, Darren, you've been an inspiration to me and a true friend that will go beyond this. And I just want to thank you for your service to your community and to our state. And you inspired me, and just we'll still work together, buddy.
There were many of us who came in 2012, and I can't think of a more thoughtful person than Representative Jernigan. Much has been said already about his commitment, but let me thank the family for lending him to us, letting us encounter his grace and his love and his brilliance. He's made this place better, and I'm grateful for his friendship. Thank you, family. Thank you, Representative Jernigan, for your service.
Representative Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just want to try to wrap up here just by saying, several of us across the aisle and on our side of the aisle have had the pleasure of serving as caucus chairman. And we all know that's a pretty difficult job, and especially us Democrats. We have to take every seat seriously. So I will just tell you, when Representative Jernigan came to me, or he called me actually, and told me what his plans were this year, I refrained from expressing the feelings that were in my heart and wished him the best, because he did what all of us should do, is when we get an opportunity and when we have to make a decision, we do what's best for ourselves and our family first, before anything else, political or otherwise. And that's why I'm so proud of him, because he has never failed to put his family first. And he represents his district so well in doing that. I'll also tell you, my second call after that was to the mayor's office. And I will not share the words that I shared with the mayor's office for putting Representative Jernigan in that situation. Because beyond the politics of it and everything else, we are truly going to miss Representative Jernigan, because he is our not so secret weapon on the Democratic side of the aisle, as you all know. I think if you look, and I don't know if people watching on TV can see, but the breakdown up here is about 50-50, with Republicans standing up here proudly honoring Representative Jernigan, because Representative Jernigan puts people first. He is truly committed to the people of Nashville. He's truly committed to every single Tennessean. He doesn't just represent 70,000 people. He represents 7 million Tennesseans. And that in his heart is to whom he owes a duty. Yeah. And he has taught me so much. I know he's taught each and every one of us up here so much through his service and through his actions. And his legacy will continue in this chamber. I know I will miss him. I know you made my job harder this year. Thanks for that, by the way. And at this time, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to honor and recognize my good friend to say a few words, Representative Darren Jernigan.
All right, I have a hot mic. There's a mic on area. You guys make it really hard to live. First and foremost, I want to thank my family, my wonderful wife, who, guys, that, our spouses, right? That's really all you have to say. But I'm not here without her and my family. And they, over 12 years, when I was going to run, and because I said, look, I can't fight you and a Republican at the same time. And but they were always on board, and they've always been there for me whether they're knocking on doors or whatever it is, and they're all, and we still have time to sit around the dinner table, and raising our kids. And one of the greatest joys in my life right now, and I've never loved something so much than my grandbaby here of 6 months, and I call him the king of all babies. He's staring at me. It's hard to pull away. I want to thank my folks, my parentals. They're at home watching live streaming. Without their sacrifice and their time and their resources, raised me to who I am today. I can't be remiss of my assistant, Jan Markham, who's also retiring. She's 40 years, which is, she started in 84. But my last day will be November 5th, and hers will be November 10th. So we're going out together. I wanted to thank her. Now, I do want to do some, I need to apologize to some members publicly. I have either run over your toes or ran over you. I fly down the hallway, and you're very. I've been in your offices. I've put holes in your furniture, and by the way, I need to confess that in your offices when you weren't there when I went to see you, it was me who changed your TV from Fox to MSNBC. So I hope that is one that I want to thank my interns over the years. I've had 12 great interns. They helped me out a lot. And speaking of me running into things, Speaker, when I leave my office, there's going to be some holes there too that you're going to have to. And Speaker, I also want to say I want to thank you for putting me into a position in leadership as vice chairman. It was it was an honor to serve. Thank you for that trust, and Chairman Farmer for working with me in the civil government. Then the class of 2012. Listen, we're a weird class because you never say never for our class. Gloria Johnson came in, left, came back. Timothy Hill left, came back. So never say never. I would just leave you with this as Representative Raper would say, you gotta love one another. He tells me he loves me every time he sees me. But we're not each other's enemies. We reserve that for the chamber down the hall. And just remember that. And so I'm gonna enjoy my time. I'm gonna miss being here, miss the people, miss the memories. I got stories for all of you. I've been to your homes. I've been broken bread with you, and don't forget me because I'm probably gonna be at your door next year for something on different reasons. But thank you so much. Remember to spay and neuter your pets. And DJ is out.
Representative Clemens.
Mr. Speaker, if you could join us in the front for a picture.
Representative Faison, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that my friend, Representative Dale Carr, and everybody that came in 2012 come up here to the front.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1128 by Chairman Faison, a resolution to honor and commend Representative Dale Carr for his distinguished service as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Dale Carr of Sevierville is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability. And whereas he has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen and an exceptional asset to the good people of the 12th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 108th through the 113th General Assemblies, and whereas a strong voice for Sevierville and Sevier County, Dale Carr has established himself as a leader by serving as chair of the Joint Government Operations, Education, Health, and General Welfare Subcommittee and chair of the House Property and Planning Subcommittee. And whereas prior to his tenure on Capitol Hill, he served with distinction as a member of the Sevierville City Council for 2 terms and on the Sevierville Housing Authority. And whereas a graduate of Sevier County High School, Leadership Sevier, and TVA Accounting School, Representative Carr received his Certified Auctioneer Institute certification from Indiana University. And whereas his many personal and professional accomplishments aside, Dale Carr is most appreciative of the love and companionship he shares with his wife, Joanne, son and daughter-in-law, Brandon and Jamie Carr, and granddaughter, Finley Grace. And whereas Representative Carr is committed to the precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as a volunteer state, and he should be recognized upon his tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor Representative Dale Carr for his meritorious service to Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commend him for his countless contributions and good works in service of the constituents of the 12th House District and the citizens of Sevierville and Sevier County, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success and happiness.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that our friend Representative Rush be allowed to make a few short remarks.
Representative Bricken.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't come in with Dale, but I've been sitting by him for 5.5 years, so I've certainly got to know the man. He certainly guided me and brought me in as a legislator up here. And there's just a couple of things I just want to share with you. And I think everybody that knows Dale can verify this. When this man says he had your back, he had your back. And the other thing, when probably if you ever came up to Dale with questions or needed advice, and I wish I could say this like he would, but he would give you this, well, let me see about that. And if you want to know about food, talk to Dale Carr. He could describe food better than anyone I've ever known. If he should probably get on a Food Network show, because he would just make our little group over there drool hungry half the time. So it's just going to, Dale, I'm just going to sorely miss you. And again, best of luck, and I know your future is still bright. So thank you.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, you know, as 2012ers, we're shrinking in size, but we're still mighty, right, Dale?
Right,
I mean, there's fewer of us, but you got to watch out for us. So seriously, we came in together, and I can proudly say this. There's not a lot of folks that have served in this chamber, present company accepted, that you can say that have served here 12 years, and I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about Dale Carr. Now, look, 12 years down here, maneuvering through issues and politics and serving his people back home, and literally everybody I meet loves the guy. And so, Dale, that is your legacy, is that you're a good man. You have served your community well. You will be dearly, dearly missed here. And my friend, it's good to see you, and I hope you have a great time, and I'm going to get into retirement.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In East Tennessee, if you happen to live in Sevier County, Blount County, Cott County, Jefferson County, Hamilton County, there was a name called Thompson Carr, and it is huge. And I remember when he decided to run, he ran against one of our friends. A lot of us love this guy, and I'm like, holy cow, this is a real race. But even though that name Thompson Carr is such a big deal, he can't win, and we'll still be able to serve with our buddy. Well, history finds out that our buddy didn't pull it off, and this massive name of Thompson Carr, all of a sudden we get Dale Carr here. Couple things on that. Dale came in and immediately won the hearts of everybody who loved the man before him. Not everybody can do that. But we didn't miss a beat. Sevier County didn't miss a beat. And I'll tell you a cute story and then I'll hush. Right beside Mrs. Elaine Davis was my seat. I sat there with Barrett Rich, where Paul Sherrill sits. In 2012, he gets elected, and Speaker Harwell decided that she was going to sit Representative Carr directly behind me where Mrs. Ira Schroeder's sitting, and Barrett Rich and I became friends with him. You know how a speaker's got the gavel, they get in kind of a cadence as you get going, and the bills are going good and things are happening. Dale decided to start doing what Speaker Harwell was saying in an auction way. Well, me and Barrett thought that was just the coolest thing for the first month. After a month of hearing everything the Speaker Harwell says in an auction-like fashion, it's not funny anymore. And I felt bad for Rush Bricken when he said he sat with him for 5.5 years. I'm wondering, does he still auction it? Oh my. He's auctioned everything in this room. I'll just tell you that several times over the last 12 years. Anyway, it has been a pure joy to serve with him. I will tell you this. The people in Sevier County love him. I've been with him in Sevier County. He walks into the gas station, to the restaurant, and he walks in big. And he talks to everybody. He talks to the kids. The kids are like, look at this. I mean, it's amazing to be with him in public. The beautiful thing you'll see when you walk through the halls with him, Dale Carr knows the janitors all the way to the governor. And he's friends with everybody, no matter what level you are in Court of Hall or the state capitol. Dale's your friend. And it's been a pure honor to serve with him, and Tennessee's better off for him. Mr. Speaker, would you allow him to share a few words?
Representative Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'm speechless. Yeah. But saying that I'm an auctioneer, I will say we have some beautiful chandeliers here, and they're antiques. We'll be selling one. You can buy as many as you want. How many are you going to get for me now? Okay. Anyway, I want to keep this short and brief. First of all, I do want to thank my assistant, Miss Becky Gregory, has been with me all 12 years. And when I first came in, my mother was here, and my wife was here, and my son and daughter-in-law and my little baby granddaughter were supposed to be here, and she got strep throat, so they could not come down. And I want to thank my family, as everybody has, for giving me the opportunity to come down here. And I'm going to tell you how much I love my wife and my mother and everybody right now. Is because it's been a year right now that we've been living with my mother. And if it wasn't for my wife staying there the 4 days that I'm gone, there's no way that I could stay down. And that's one of the reasons I am retiring, to be with my mother. But she's there, and that's the reason she couldn't be here today. Faced on said, well, we can't change the date. I said, don't make any difference. You can have it next year if you want to. She still can't be here. But anyway, I do appreciate that. And I'm going to shut up now before I get too emotional. But I thank everybody here. I love everybody. It's been a great pleasure, as Deputy Speaker said, of 99 that's got to serve here. And I just want to make one little comment. The reason me and him are, the Speaker Johnson, we're retiring together. We're opening up a used car lot, J&C Motors, and we're going to be starting selling car lots anyway. Anyway, thank you. Thank you to my family. And one special thank you to Mr. Speaker up here. If you noticed me for the longest time, I'd stand against the wall over. That chair that I had would absolutely cut my legs in two, and you finally got us some good cheers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Representative Faison.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Come down and take a picture with us.
Representative Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that the Sergeant at Arms bring my friend, Representative Holsclaw, down to the well. And all of the friends with him, y'all come down.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well. Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that the clerk read his resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1326 by Chairman Faison and others, a resolution to commend Representative John Holsclaw for his honorable and astute service to the people of Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with the utmost integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful and exemplary service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative John Holsclaw of Elizabethton is one such distinguished public servant who has served his constituency with honor and ability. And whereas John Holsclaw has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of the highest order and as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 4th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 109th through the 113th General Assemblies. And whereas throughout his service, John Holsclaw has been prominent as a dedicated and well-informed legislator who always votes his conscience. And whereas born in May 24th, 1963, Representative Holsclaw has a strong work ethic and a highly regarded as a jeweler, a jewel store proprietor, and small business owner of more than 30 years. He is recognized by his peers as the jeweler of the legislature, and he is known to work late hours through the night and into the morning, creating magnificent custom jewelry for his customers. Whereas he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from East Tennessee State University, and whereas his many professional accomplishments aside, John Holsclaw is most grateful for the love and companionship he shares with his beautiful wife of 22 years, Sherry, and their 5 daughters. He is proud to be the official grumps to his grandson, John. And whereas Representative John Holsclaw is wholly committed to the noble precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as a volunteer state, and he should be specially recognized for his exemplary tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we hereby honor Representative John Holsclaw for his meritorious service to Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commend him for his countless contributions and many good works in service of the citizens of the 4th House District, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, John, we asked Curtis to say something, and he didn't want to talk. And we asked Jeremy to say something, and he didn't want to talk. So they asked me to say a little something. I'm going to give it my best, okay? Now, Holsclaw, here's the deal, man. Neither one of these guys, and maybe they'll say something in a minute, can, I think, get up here at this microphone and speak without shedding a little bit of tear breaking up, okay? Look, I will say this. All of us in this room respect you. Your folks back home respect you. You're one of those guys that comes in every day, you do the job, you serve your people. I never have to worry about something crazy you're going to say on Twitter, because you're not even on Twitter, I don't think. I don't have to worry about you doing anything in your community that any of us would ever be embarrassed of, because you're a good man who does your duty and has done that since the day you got elected. Again, we love you, brother. And I'm going to tell y'all, if you don't have some Holsclaw specially made jewelry, you still got a few weeks, okay? He will hook you up. But this man has got skills. But I just want to thank you for your friendship. You and Curtis have sat back in the back of the room together. Y'all are joined at the hip. It doesn't surprise me that y'all are heading out in retirement together. And I'm going to tell you, if I visit either one of your districts, and I will, and you're not hanging out with each other, I will be shocked, okay? But we love you, brother, and we appreciate your service. Thank you very much.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would love to tell y'all some really funny stories. Some of them we can't even tell, so we're just not going to tell them. When you meet Representative Holsclaw, you think he's kind of gruff. If you've been in his committee, you know he's kind of gruff and abrupt at times, and it would almost appear that he's not even nice at times, because he's just so, as a matter of fact. Underneath all of that is this massive teddy bear that you just can't imagine. For those of y'all who don't know, Representative Holsclaw has had incredible physical trials. It's a miracle that he is walking here today. Part of it's just because he's so stubborn that he's not going to give in to anything that's happened to him. And I've always loved the fact that he doesn't let whatever's happened to him at all govern him or become his identity. Speaking of identities, those of y'all who are close to me know that I nickname people. My friend Representative Curtis Johnson nicknames people. And when this is over, I need you to go see Representative Johnson and ask him why he calls Holsclaw Rocket Man. It is a pure joy. He looks like a dictator. When you see the picture, you're going like, my gosh, he looks like this dictator from North Korea. And he has this nickname called Rocket Man. Furthermore, those of y'all who know Jeff Dunham know Ahmed, the dead terrorist. We've also nicknamed him Ahmed. And he rolls right with it and comes back. And we are so honored that we've got to serve with him. I actually do have one of the rings on that he handmade for me. Look at his jewelry. It's amazing. One day, if you're in Elizabethton, go to the jeweler's bench, and it's awesome what he's got there. Mr. Speaker, would you allow him to say a few words?
Of course. You're recognized, Representative Holsclaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's definitely a solemn day. I mean, we've started off with Beck, and man, what a day. And I hate to drag it on, but we've got one more after this, I think. So, but first, you know, it's truly an honor. And you hear people stand up here and say this to serve as a state representative, but it truly is an honor. If you think of all the people that stood here in this well and tried to pass a bill or a proclamation, anything, it is an honor to stand in front of this body. And this body has become my family because I don't get to drive home like some of you guys. I've got a 5-hour drive. So I'm here Monday through Thursday, so I spend more time with you than I do with my wife and family. So that's made you my family. And sometimes I get aggravated at some of these people that say crazy stuff. Well, I mean, he does it. He's the William Lambert. But we all have a passion for our districts and our people. And we don't understand sometimes why they are where they're at. But it's because of their people and their beliefs. And we all have those, and we all hold those for our own districts, and we try to represent those. But none of that would be possible without my wife. As many as you know, I've got many, many, many daughters. So she does a phenomenal job of holding down the fort at home, of taking care of them. They've got 2 dogs. However, they are male dogs, which is a positive. But the drama, and she also runs the business. And for that, for her giving me the opportunity to serve down here and not just crush me, you know, she does accuse me of coming down here to get away from the drama sometimes. There's plenty of drama here too, hon. But she's probably the strongest lady that I know. I mean, she is just, you look at her and you say, oh, that sweet little thing. She's 4'10", maybe. But she is nothing but dynamite. I mean, she is the matriarch of the family for sure. And, you know, for her, I know she's probably watching. She couldn't be here because of one of the daughters having surgery. So she always takes care of them first. You can beat up on me, but you cannot beat up on those girls. She will tear you a new one. But I love you, babe. You're great. And, you know, speaking of that, I also have a special thank you for my assistant, Lisa Falkenbach. She's done a wonderful job. She helps deal with the craziness here and at home and keeps that halfway managed for me. So thank you, Bach. You know, I can truly say that this body has opened my mind. You know, we get kind of fixed, but with all the knowledge here and getting to think about different perspectives, it's developed me and grown me. And for that, I'm forever grateful, and I'll cherish that and take that with my journey forward. You know, my dad told me when I was running. He said, son, if you get elected, you're going to make contacts and meet people that you'll never, ever be able to attain any other way. And that's such a true statement. You know, and each member here has impacted my life in some big or small way. And I'm grateful for that. So the guys that I've not gotten to know in a great detail, for that I'm regretful, because we're all special in our own way. And if you ever come to my district or ever go through my district and you have an issue and you don't call me, you know, I'm there 24/7. That's just the way I operate, no matter our differences or whatever. So it's on you if you don't call, you know. And I reckon I'll leave with this. The reason it hurts so much to say goodbye is because we're now forever connected as a family. And I'm not good at goodbyes, am I, Curtis? But I do the Irish goodbye, just kind of slide out without saying bye. So that's what I'm going to do at this time. Thank you, guys.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would you join us in the well for a picture with our friend?
Representative Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request the Sergeant at Arms escort our guests into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well. Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1097 by Chairman Faison and others, a resolution to commend Representative Sam Whitson for his honorable and astute service to the people of Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties with the utmost integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful and exemplary service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Sam Whitson of Franklin is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability. And whereas Sam Whitson has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of the highest order and as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 65th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 110th through the 113th General Assemblies. And whereas throughout his service, Representative Whitson has been prominent as a dedicated and well-informed legislator who always votes his conscience. And whereas throughout his service, Representative Whitson has been prominent as a dedicated and well-informed legislator. And whereas a military veteran, Representative Sam Whitson retired at the rank of colonel from the United States Army and is a graduate of the U.S. Army War College. and the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College. And whereas Representative Whitson earned his bachelor's of science degree from Middle Tennessee State University and completed his master's of public administration degree at the University of Oklahoma. And whereas throughout his outstanding career as a public servant, Sam Whitson has worked tirelessly on behalf of his constituents, bringing to his office an honorable bearing in the traditional values of hard work and common sense. And whereas Representative Sam Whitson is wholly committed to the noble precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as the volunteer state, and he should be specially recognized for exemplary tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives on 113th General Assembly, State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we hereby honor Representative Sam Whitson for his meritorious service to Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives and commend him for his countless contributions and many good works in service of the citizens of the 65th House District, and extend to him our best wishes for much continuing success and happiness.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, would you recognize Representative Jernigan?
Representative Jernigan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it's gonna be tough to find some words. Sam is my best friends and confidants down here. Now, let me tell you, they say that to never meet your heroes. And I got to tell you all, the day that Sam met me for the first time, you all have been so proud of him. He handled himself so well. But I am going to miss our peanut butter and jelly sandwich lunches. We eat together 3-4 times a week. I'm going to miss seeing you on a daily basis. This body, you're such an asset to it that for you, a good idea is a good idea, no matter where it comes from. You're going to vote that way. If it's good for your district, that's the way you're going to vote. That's the way it should be. And you listen. You just embody. And I've said this when we've been speaking on tour stuff. You're just a little bit older than I am, but I can tell you when I am in your senior status, I want to carry myself the way that you do, and that's the best thing I can say. And I love you and Pam. You're the best, and we won't see each other on a daily basis, but I'm sure we'll harass each other from time to time. So, thank you for your service.
Representative Howell.
Well, what can you say about Sam that hasn't been said? I told the group last night that I'm really going to miss him, not as a colleague, but as a friend. For 6 years now, we've served together on the Transportation Committee. Sam is subs chair, as you know. And I remarked last night to the group that Sam, I think he falls back on his military training as a colonel, and he can kill your bill in the sweetest spirit and almost make you like it. It's just amazing how he does that, but it's a gift. But I think of Sam, he's a gentle giant in character and integrity, and it's been a pleasure working with him. I will miss him. I thoroughly appreciate his friendship. And Pam, thank you for letting him come up here for 6 years, keeping the home fires burning. And he has, through the years, made my job a whole lot easier. Thank you, Sam.
Representative Hazelwood.
Well, I know that we're here today to say a fond farewell to our colleague, Sam Whitson, and to wish him all the best as he goes forward. But I'm not going to say goodbye because Sam is my friend. Pam is my friend. That's not going to change. We're going to still be friends. We're going to still stay in touch. I spent 4 years mentoring Sam as a seatmate. I'm not going to stop now because I still have work to do. I am a co-partner with Pam in trying to do that, but we have had some wonderful conversations about how we're going to fix Sam. But I truly just want to say to my friend Sam, I'm going to miss you. This house is going to miss you. The state is going to miss you. You have spent your life in public service, and for that, we are all truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sam, everybody has said it all just about, but I will say this. Sam's a good man. He came down here and fought the good fight. He's fought it the entire time he's been here, but you've been in bigger fights than just what we've had on this floor. You've served our country. You've served your district. And one thing some of you may or may not know about him, he has a deep, deep, deep passion for history, for historical artifacts, and for monuments, and for specifically just historical homes in your district. And Sam, I say this with all the love of my heart. You have now become a part of that history you love, and you have made a difference in it. You have made a difference in those green books in the back of the room, just as all of us have. But it's not just something to remember. It's a living part of history, as you have been. And we cherish both your friendship for all of us and the time that you have served the people of this state. Thank you, sir.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, one of the most endearing qualities of our friend Sam Whitson is that he's an encourager. I don't know if my gut is that he's been to your office and stops you in the hallway. There have been plenty of times that I've made mistakes or done this or frustrated people, and Sam will come into my office. He shuts the door and encourages me. It is something that all of us could learn from. It's easier on this body sometimes to complain than to encourage, to disparage instead of encourage. And my friend Sam has been an encourager from the time he got here, and I love him for it. Everybody's brought up the fact that he served our country. He swore an oath to defend our Constitution in 2 different areas. I think it's a beautiful thing. Even though he is a military man, he was able to take that hat off, gain from that experience and that leadership that he was in the military, and come here to the General Assembly and use what he learned. It's a beautiful thing to watch what he's done. His sweet wife, Pam, I've got to know. I've sat at their dinner table, and he cannot be the man he is without a rock star wife like he has. The last thing I will tell you, that he has a 1988 Toyota Tacoma. It's 4-wheel drive. It's red. He told me that if I did this resolution for him, he would give it to me today. So I'm hoping for the keys. Mr. Speaker, would you honor him by letting him speak with us?
Representative Whitson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, members. First of all, I want to thank the citizens of the 65th House District that trusted me with this position 8 years ago. And it is an honor, and to my fellow members and the leadership, you know, this has given me a sense of purpose and camaraderie I've not felt since I served with soldiers in the Army. And I mean that sincerely. Every one of you, it's a team. One fight is for the fight of people, for the people of Tennessee. For the members of my morning caucus group, coffee group, thank you. I'm going to miss that so much. And if I'm 10 minutes late, y'all let me know. So Chairman Carr, thank you for that. I'm going to speak for a lot of the members today, and it's the folks who we want to thank. And for Tammy and Kim and Dan and the clerk staff, for Colonel Perry and the Tennessee Highway Patrol team, Captain Trotter and our Sergeant at Arms. What a great group of folks to work with, y'all. You know, the staff of the House staff, the lawyers, the clerks, the research folks, y'all do so much, especially during this period of time. And again, that's sincerely appreciated. And I know every member in here appreciates that too, what y'all do. I've been on transportation committee since I've been here. And the past 6 years on the leadership of our chairman has been absolutely one of the biggest pleasures of my life. Thank you, Dan. My buddy Darren, already said it, and you still you don't know good movies. I'm just going to make sure you know the end of Casablanca and what it really meant. So I got to talk about my sister. If I didn't have a sister, I had two brothers, and if I had a sister, it would be this lady right here. And Patsy Hazelwood. I was so blessed to sit next to Patsy for many years. You know, I knew I was in trouble when these two started texting each other. It usually ends with Patsy sending Pam a text saying, "I'll bring the shovel." I don't know what that means. And thank you for all those budget hearings. I'll never forget it. My buddy Rick Tillis up there. Where's Rick? Oh, Rick. We shared an office our first year in the court or in the War Memorial Building. It was an experience. Speaker Harwell, you remember how in first grade, they would try to separate the two kids that were causing problems? And Speaker Harwell, we gave her a great time, I think, most of the time. And but also, Speaker Sexton, I appreciate your leadership and trust. I still have in my desk when I had the honor to nominate you to be our speaker for the 113th General Assembly. That meant a lot to me. And I also appreciate, though, I could come to your office and when we disagreed and I had to tell you I couldn't support something, you never took me off a committee. You just put me on another one. So I appreciate that. My legislative assistant, we started the same day, Amanda Conway. Amanda, I love you. And you know, she was selected as the House Employee of the Year. I think they felt sorry for her, really, for that, for putting that with me. But Amanda, you just been absolutely wonderful, and I just see great things for you, and thank you. And last, this little girl, 54 years ago, I was a sack boy at Giant Foods down here in Hundred Oaks, and this little 15-year-old girl came through, and it was the only phone number I got the whole time I worked there. And so, well, kind of. And so, but it's the only one I remember, 883-1597. And so, never trust a politician. Never trust. But I told Pam, though, also, we left college, was going in the Army, and we got married in 1974. We're coming up on our 50th wedding anniversary in August. And I told her we were going to the Army. I was just going to do 4 years. We'll come back home. I didn't tell her it was going to be in dog years. And it was 26 wonderful years that, well, I got to go out and do what I love more than anything in this world. She was home. We raised two wonderful boys, Brad and Brian. We got good daughter-in-laws. We got 5 wonderful grandchildren, and we are truly blessed. And that is what I look forward to, spending more time with them. You know, we have a saying in the Army when it's time to leave a post or to move on, and you're saying goodbye to friends. We moved 13 times in 26 years. And when I would issue an order to my staff and my commanders, I always ended it like this, and it means so much to me. And if you served, I think you understand what it means. But it also, I know everybody in here will understand it. I always end it like this: I'll see you on the high ground. Thank you. I'm not selling my truck.
I want it back from the
Pam's actually crying because I've got more time at home now. Okay.
Representative Faison.
Mr. Speaker, would you join us in the well for a picture with our friend?
Representative Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request that Representative Richey and the freshman class come down here in the well with us.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms. Please help the members. Representative Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Resolution 146 by Chairman Faison and others, a resolution to commend Representative Brian Richey for his honorable and astute service to the people of Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is most appropriate that we should honor those fellow legislators who have performed their duties to the utmost integrity and whose efforts during their time in office have been dedicated to providing thoughtful and exemplary service to their districts and to this great state. And whereas Representative Brian Richey of Maryville is one such distinguished public servant who has served both his constituency and this legislative body with honor and ability. And whereas Brian Richey has distinguished himself as a public-spirited citizen of the highest order and as an exceptional asset to the good people of the 20th House District, whom he has served as a member of the 113th General Assembly. And whereas throughout his service, Representative Richey has been prominent as a dedicated and well-informed legislator who always votes his conscience. And whereas a successful realtor, Brian Richey was born on April 1st, 1980. He is a graduate of Apopka High School and Lake Sumter College, and he honorably served his nation as a member of the U.S. Navy. And whereas Mr. Richey is married with 2 children and is a member of the Baptist faith, and whereas throughout his outstanding career as a public servant, Brian Richey has worked tirelessly on behalf of his constituents, bringing to his office an honorable bearing and traditional values of hard work and common sense. And whereas Representative Brian Richey is wholly committed to the noble precepts of public service that have earned Tennessee recognition as the volunteer state, and he should be specially recognized for exemplary tenure in the General Assembly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, that we hereby honor Representative Brian Richey for his meritorious service to Tennessee as a member of the House of Representatives, commend him for his countless contributions and many good works in service of the citizens of the 20th House District, and extend to him our best wishes for much continued success and happiness.
Representative Barrett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, many of us, hopefully some of you still remember when you were freshmen coming in. I know a couple of you may be harder to remember that far back. I know, I'm giving guys a hard time this morning. One of the first people I met whenever we had our caucus get together right after getting elected was Brian Richey. And the one thing that I've always appreciated about Representative Richey is he has always been very straight and to the point about why he was here, what he ran for, and what he set out to do when he got here. And he's never strayed from that. I'll tell a story about the freshman leader election that I think reveals a little bit about Representative Richey and his character. There were, I think, 5 of us that ran for that seat, 5 or 6 of us that ran for that seat. And many of us, it was our first time kind of getting into this idea of running for a leadership position, didn't really know how it worked. So we're trying to walk around and talk to as many members as we could, whip some votes, talk to some of the other freshmen, find out where everything was. Well, the day of the election, we start going through the process, and I had not talked to Representative Richey at all about even his vote or where he stood. He was one of the ones that was running for freshman leader. And when they called him to stand up and give his presentation to the group and to tell why he thought that we should vote for him, unprovoked and without us having any prior conversation, he stood up and said, "I'm going to withdraw my name because I believe Jody Barrett is the man for the job, and I'm going to throw my support behind him." I didn't ask him to do that. We didn't talk about it. And ever since then, unfortunately, it meant that I had to be his leader and try to corral this cat for the last 2 years, he's a tough bronc to ride sometimes. But I appreciate the fact that he has been steadfast and committed to his values, kept to what he felt was best for him,
best for his constituents, and has never strayed from that. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you, and I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Leader Lambert.
Well, Representative Richey, I wish I could talk about the hundreds of pieces of legislation that you have carried and passed on this floor. I wish I could talk about the decades of public service you've given here in the House. I wish I could talk about the many, many memories that we have. But dude, you just got here. You took one look at this body and went, whoa, I got to get down the hall. So we truly do appreciate you serving, and I'm joking with him a little bit because y'all, he hadn't been here that long, but you have made quite an impression here. You fought for what you believed in, you fought for your constituents, and you're still doing so, and we appreciate that. And folks, whether you serve for a short amount of time or a long amount of time on this floor, your service matters here. Your service has mattered. We wish you all the best in your endeavors in the future, and I just want to say it has been an honor serving with you.
Representative Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I think of a word to describe our friend Representative Richey, I think tenacious. He is a go-getter. And I don't know if y'all have paid attention to the consent calendar like I have, but I don't know in my 14 years have I've ever seen more resolutions honoring more people from his district than this guy right here. Evidently, he is really in tune to everybody and every little rat killing that happens in Blount County because he's honoring them. And that shows me that he's really paying attention to his people. And we are thankful that you got to serve up here. We're thankful that you gave your time to be here. And with Mr. Speaker, with that, I ask that you allow him a few words.
Representative Richey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to give all honor and glory to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I want to thank my wife for allowing me to come down here and serve with y'all for the last 2 years. It's been a blast, and I look forward to what the future holds.
Best speech all day right there.
Representative Faison.
Mr. Speaker, I request that you come take a picture with the best speaker today.
Welcome and honoring anyone seeking recognition or welcome and honoring. This might be a first. All right. Next order, Ms. Clerk.
Introduction of resolutions.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All resolutions properly filed be introduced pursuant to Rule number 17 in place of the consent calendar or referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Joint Resolutions congratulatory memorializing.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that all Senate joint resolutions congratulatory memorializing in line with that SP placed of the consent calendar pursuant to Rule number 17.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Resolutions lying over.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that all resolutions line over be referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Introduction of bills.
Leader Lambert, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bill 3004 be introduced and passed on first consideration.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate bills on first consideration.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that Senate Bills 1,866, 2012, 2,129, 2,293, 2,307, 2,328, 2,368, 2,378, 2,506, and 2,636 transmitted to the Senate be held on the desk pending third consideration of their companion House bills.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate bills on second consideration, House bills on second consideration, petitions, memorials, reports from standing committees, reports from select committees, calendars. Mr. Speaker, the House has a consent calendar.
Chairman Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of the consent calendar on third and final consideration. Keep with Rule 50.
Gentleman moves passage of the consent calendar. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, any objections been filed?
Mr. Speaker, no objections filed.
Anyone seeking recognition on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the objection to the question. Seeing none, we're voting on the consent calendar. All members in favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Barrett, aye. Freeman, aye. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91, no nays.
Having received constitutional majority, I declare the consent calendar passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, the House has a regular calendar.
Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I make a motion to move the remainder or move the entire calendar today to next available states, next available calendar.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bill 708 be heard in Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee this week.
You've heard the motion, probably seconded. Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have a message from the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I'm directed to return House Bill 1695 for further consideration.
Thursday's message calendar. Representative Gillespie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that House Bill 1719 be taken off the desk and put on the next available calendar.
It's a proper motion, probably seconded. There's objection. We're on the board. It requires a simple majority to pull it off with the objection. All those in favor of lifting House Bill 1719 and putting it on the next spot on the next available calendar, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Aye, 70, 22 nays.
Motion passes. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Announcements.
Announcements. Representative Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members, I have a bunch of window cling stickers on my desk available to you. They're the national motto, which is "In God We Trust." If you'd like to take a few stickers or a sticker for your vehicle, be my guest. Thank you.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to make this announcement for the members of the Democratic Caucus. We will be having a class picture tomorrow after session, so look pretty or as pretty as you can, Representative Towns. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further announcements? Representative Hicks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if I can have your attention, budget sub will meet at 12 p.m. today in House Hearing Room 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If any committee was starting at 11, you're starting at 12. How about that? All right. Any further announcements? Next order, Ms. Clerk.
Roll call.
Roll call. Ms. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 89 members present.
Next order, Ms. Clerk.
That completes the regular order, Mr. Speaker.
Leader Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until 9 a.m. on Thursday, April 11th, 2024.
Without objection, the House stands in recess till 9 a.m. on Thursday, April 11th, 2024.